This wasn't just another wildfire. This was the moment America realized the fire was faster than us. Across the United States, the sky turned a color people weren't prepared for. Not gray, not black, but orange, thick, heavy, and unfamiliar. The kind of sky that makes you stop what you're doing and look up, even if you don't yet understand why. In the days leading up to it, the land had been dry. Too dry, cracked soil, brittle trees, ground that hadn't felt rain in months. When the spark came, it didn't announce itself. No explosion, no warning, just heat meeting land that was ready to burn. By the time smoke was visible, the fire had already learned how to move. Wind arrived and turned flames into something else entirely. Embers lifted into the air and landed miles away, starting new fires before the first had a name. Highways that once separated neighborhoods became nothing more than lines the fire jumped over without slowing down. Evacuation alerts lit up phones across America. Families had minutes to decide what mattered most. Parents grabbed children. Neighbors banged on doors. Pets were carried. Photo albums were left behind. Homes built over generations were abandoned in seconds. People would later say the same thing. There was no time to think. Then the sky changed again. Day turned into something that looked like sunset, even though the sun was still high. Ash fell from the air like snow. Breathing became difficult. And then, in some places, the power failed. Cell signals dropped. Traffic lights went dark. For a brief moment, America paused. No scrolling, no talking, just people standing still, watching fire swallow the horizon. Firefighters were already there. They walked toward heat that melted equipment and drained strength faster than training ever could. Radios crackled with short, calm messages that carried enormous weight. Lines were drawn, not on maps, but on the ground. If those lines failed, towns would disappear. They didn't fight for attention. They fought for time. By morning, the cost was impossible to ignore. Entire neighborhoods were gone. Cars were twisted and melted. Streets looked unfamiliar, even to the people who had lived there their whole lives. The numbers would come later, billions in damage, thousands of structures lost. But survivors didn't talk about statistics. They talked about memories, about kitchens where birthdays were celebrated, about walls that once held children's drawings, about the sound of their front doors closing for the last time. As the smoke spread, the world began to watch. Satellite images showed thick clouds stretching across state lines and beyond borders. What started as a fire in America became a global image, a reminder that what burns in one place can be felt everywhere. When the flames finally slowed, silence returned. Not the peaceful kind, the heavy kind, the kind that settles over land that has been changed forever. People returned to places that no longer looked like home. Some found foundations, some found nothing at all. Yet again and again, the same words were spoken. We're still here. Experts would explain the causes: heat, drought, wind, human decisions layered over years. But what Americans remembered most wasn't the explanation. It was the feeling, the realization that this wasn't a distant future. It was happening now. And then, weeks later, something unexpected appeared. Green. Small plants pushed through blackened soil. Life returned quietly, without permission, without waiting. Not because the fire allowed it, but because life refused to disappear. The fire didn't just burn land. It delivered a warning. And the question it left behind still hangs in the air. Will America wait for the next fire? Or change before the next spark?